Okay, hi ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the mini lesson on setting. Now we're going to talk about looking for clues as to how our characters are described. So what I want you to do is now turn to, in your packet, the same packet that included this setting worksheet. I want you to look at, it says reading character, and it says the gloves. So I'm going to read it out loud to you, and you can follow along, okay? But first, I want you to look up at the reader's tip, okay? And if you look on your paper, it's right at the top, right there. The reader's tip says, as you read, look for clues about what a character is like. So you're just looking for describing words as to how this author has described the main character. Then it says, think about this character's thoughts and actions. So now you have to take the information that the author has given you and think about their actions and their thoughts. So follow along as I read it out loud to you. The gloves. You know what I just realized? I never bite my nails when I've got gloves on. So all I have to do is leave the gloves on, Amy said. And she did. Right through April and May and half of June. She wore the gloves at home, at school, and in bed. The first week, Amy often found herself trying to chew right through the leather to get at a fingernail, but she resisted the impulse to yank the glove off. Using the computer keyboard was a challenge. On the plus side, her gym teacher was astounded by her improvement in rope climbing. Of course, people were curious about why she was wearing gloves everywhere. All the time, in April and May, Amy just explained with her usual frankness that she was trying to stop biting her nails. What a great idea, a couple of girls said. A few days later, they were wearing gloves too, all the time, everywhere. By the end of May, Amy's nails were so long that the gloves didn't fit anymore. Her mother presented Amy with a gift certificate to Sophronia's nail salon. I'm so impressed with you, she said. It's hard to kick a habit like that, but you did it. Okay, so turn to the back of your paper, and it says character. Reread the story. Circle the words that tell about Amy's character. Now, we're not talking about character as like a person. We're talking about her character traits. So what's her personality like? That's what we're talking about here. All right. Obviously, we know she's the main character, but we want to know what information the author has given us. So it says, circle the words that tell about Amy's characters. Fill in the chart with clues that show that she is determined. So they've already got half of it filled out for you. It says Amy is determined. We need 2 clues that tell us how Amy is determined. Now, the author isn't going to come out and tell you in the text that Amy is determined because she is da-da-da-da-da. You have to figure that out on your own, and that's called inference. All right, so you're taking information that the author is giving you and information from your background to figure out what makes someone determined. So let's go back in the story, and I would like you now to read the story again, and I'm going to give you time to do that. So you can click pause on your video, and I'll be right here to explain the rest. Okay, I hope you have reread the story, and now we can figure out how Amy is determined. So let's talk about it. What's one thing, one clue, as to how we know that Amy is a determined person? She doesn't give up. That's what determined means. She doesn't give up on what she wants, the goal. All right, so if we think about it, the goal is to not bite her nails anymore. How do we know that she's a determined person to reach this goal? Well, one way could be that she doesn't take the gloves off ever. So that's one clue that we could use. Now, what I want you to do is write that in the box for clue number 1. And then I want you to think of a clue on your own. So you can click pause. And of course, you should go back in the text and figure it out if you can't remember. I don't expect you to remember every single thing that you've read. So go back in the text and figure out another clue that we can tell that Amy is determined. Okay, now it says your turn. So we figured out how Amy is determined, and we've inferred from what the author has told us in the story. So now I want you to look at the directions under the subheading Your Turn. It says, think about your favorite character in a book or a TV show. Fill in one of this character's traits in the clues that support it. So in the blank, you're going to put the character's name. So blank is, and then you're going to describe how you know that person is, how you've described them. So for example, I am going to say that I'm actually going to use a movie, and I'm going to use the movie Wizard of Oz. So I'm going to pick Dorothy and say that Dorothy is positive. Okay, so I'm going to say she's positive. And I know she's positive because she keeps looking. She keeps going down the yellow brick road to look to get to home and to find the Oz. So I'm going to put that she is positive, and then that's my first clue, that she just keeps going down the yellow brick road. For the second clue, she's positive because she keeps telling the other characters in the story that they can also go to see Oz with her and that they will find what they're looking for. So that's another reason I think she's positive. So I would like you to now complete this little graphic here. And I know it might be hard to think of a character from a favorite book or a favorite TV show, but I have confidence that you can think of doing that just like I did. Obviously, since I've used the Wizard of Oz, you cannot use the Wizard of Oz as your example, but I'm sure you can figure out a character that you can use on your own. When you're finished with this, you can go on and use the directions from the last video about writing the short story, so you can start doing that. Thanks.